Number 6. Gerry Loman and Peter Boshoff. When Gerry Loman and Peter Boshoff went for a trip off the coast of South Africa, they got a little more shark than they expected. Diving guide Andre Hartman offers clients an incredible experience, the opportunity to come face to face with a great white shark, one of the largest predators in the sea. It almost always goes smoothly. Never before had Andre had an incident, but one day, something horrifying occurred. Gerry and Peter are doing a dive when one of the massive sharks accidentally gets trapped inside the cage. The supervising boat crew are using a large piece of chum to lure the creature close to the cage so the divers can get a good view. But when the shark goes to bite it, it misses. Unable to stop, the hungry fish slams through the bars of the small cage, only inches away from the terrified men. It begins thrashing around violently, getting ever closer to them. Gerry and Peter are frantically trying to avoid its razor-sharp teeth when Gerry's air supply comes loose. If he doesn't get out now, he'll drown. The next time the shark moves, Gerry stands up and pushes it away from him as hard as he can, buying him the few crucial seconds he needs to get out. But Peter is still inside, and he has also lost his own air regulator. Seeing an opportunity, he goes for the top of the cage, right as the great white turns the same way. The shark hits him as he makes it to an exit, and pushes him right out. Both men miraculously escaped unharmed, and the shark was safely released afterwards. Hartman still offers his shark dives, but now with much safer cages. Number 5. Rainer Schimpf. Rainer Schimpf is a tour operator and cameraman who spends much of his time documenting the annual sardine run. When a curious great white shark decided his tour boat might make a tasty snack. Every year, billions of sardines travel northward along the east coast of Africa, attracting hundreds of birds, whales, tourists, and sharks. On this particular morning, Schimpf and his group of sightseers were headed to a small island, home to a colony of Cape fur seals, when the 4.5-meter female shark surfaced next to their boat. At first, she seemed rather docile, and the tourists were all very excited about seeing such a wonderful animal. All of a sudden, the shark turned and began biting at the inflatable side of the boat, causing it to begin deflating rapidly. She continued attacking for several minutes before giving up and swimming away. It's believed that the shark thought it must have been a dead whale carcass, and that once she realized that she was biting into plastic and not blubber, she decided to leave. Number 4. Dave Marcel. In South Florida, there lives a man who loves to spend time with his deadly predators, and he knows from experience just what happens when you get too careless. Dave Marcel, also known as the Shark Whisperer, is famous for taking people deep-sea diving, and giving them the chance to get up close and personal with his favorite fish, the nurse shark. These animals are very tolerant of humans, and Dave can prove it. On his dives, him and the tourists pet the sharks, who are clearly affectionate and love the attention. If you want to, you can even kiss them. Flipping the shark over relaxes the fish and puts it into sort of a trance, which makes it perfectly safe to give them a great big smooch on the belly. After a while, Dave found he could do even more, and dive after dive, kiss the sharks right on the mouth. But one day, this trick backfired in a big way. This time, the shark senses what feels like food and takes a nasty bite out of Dave's lips. Fortunately for him, the shark isn't able to get a good grip and lets go after a few seconds. But the damage has been done. The shark's mouth is filled with a lot of sharp teeth, leaving his lips dangling in the water, almost completely severed in a pool of blood. Dave is rushed to the hospital, but 3 days and 285 stitches later, he's back in the water doing what he loves, with a little bit less kissing. Number 3. Ming Chan. In October, a film was taken off the coast of Mexico that shows the terrifying moment a shark managed to get inside a diving cage, with diver Ming Chan still inside. The video shows the 3-meter great white shark devouring a piece of bait, before somehow managing to end up on the wrong side of the bars. Chan was able to escape out of an emergency exit, only to discover 2 more sharks circling hungrily only a few feet away. He said, "I felt his panic and thought, hey, come on buddy, you don't want to come into my cage. I didn't have time to be frightened, but found myself outside of the cage." Hoping to escape the predators, Chan returns to find that the first fish has managed to swim out. Outside, the other divers have only just realized that the cage in question had someone inside, and there are several nervous moments as they wait to see what has happened. Then there were sighs of relief as he makes his way to the surface, tapping his head to indicate that he's fine. The cameraman said, "I thought I was filming someone dying. I couldn't believe he just walked out of it." Chan has stated that, despite his horrifying encounter, he hopes he can get the chance to go diving in shark territory again soon. Number 2. Erik Ritter. While filming for Shark Week, scientist Erik Ritter was the unlucky victim of a shocking incident in the Bahamas in 2002. He and the British television personality Nigel Marven were standing amongst a school of bull sharks, trying to prove that their reputation for aggression was not true, and that the animals rarely attack humans. Unfortunately, their demonstration was to be cut short, as one of the sharks took a massive bite out of one of Ritter's legs. The film team had baited the water beforehand, and being in the same water as a group of large feeding sharks is not always the most intelligent of ideas. The shark in question had been chasing a small fish, which chose the water between his legs as a good hiding place. Due to the low visibility, instead of biting at the fish, it sank its teeth into Ritter's calf. He sustained massive injuries, with a large chunk of flesh on his leg completely torn off, and would have died of blood loss had he not been given immediate medical attention. As the chief scientist of the global shark attack file, Ritter is known for his unorthodox methods. He practices yoga, believing that being able to decrease his heart rate while in the water will convince the sharks that he's a fellow predator, not food. He believes the incident to be mostly an accident, but others are not so sure. Sharks are often on the lookout for light-colored food, so most people who intend to spend time around them wear dark wetsuits. Ritter clearly did not care for these precautions. He would often wade into the water wearing nothing but a pair of shorts, leaving his legs completely bare, resulting in the sharks ramming into him on multiple separate occasions. Whatever the cause of the attack, the moral is pretty clear. Sharks are formidable predators that demand our respect, and entering their space without the proper care and safety measures is extremely risky, if not outright stupid. Number 1. Heather Boswell. In March of 1994, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration ship Discoverer was heading towards Easter Island. Aboard was 19-year-old Heather Boswell, who had signed on for a 6-month position in the galley. She certainly didn't expect to be signing up for the horrific ordeal that she was to go through. On the morning of the 23rd, Heather and several other crew members were on break, taking a swim in the warm waters, when out of nowhere, a 16-foot shark appeared. It didn't go for her at first, instead attacking Phil Buffington, a seaman who happened to be swimming nearby. Buffington managed to escape, although he suffered serious cuts that would require over 50 stitches. However, after he managed to escape, the shark turned its attention elsewhere. Hearing a scream from someone abroad, Heather was frantically trying to make her way back to the ship when it turned on her. She froze, not wanting to risk kicking it. Several people came to her rescue and extended a stick, but she had barely managed to grasp it when the shark grabbed her leg and pulled her underwater. He was moving his head back and forth, shaking me really hard, she later stated. I thought I was going to die. The shark resurfaced after a few moments, where 2 people fought to free Heather while a third hit it with the stick. It was then that she felt a popping sensation in her leg. I thought it was just my hip dislocating, she said. It was only once she made it back aboard that she realized the shark had taken off her left leg at the middle of her thigh. After her escape, the shark began making its way towards a third victim who was only barely making it to the ship. Fortunately, it was driven off by shots from the crew, and no one else was hurt. Though she lost nearly half of her blood in the attack, Heather managed to survive and was given a replacement leg. To this day, no one knows why the shark attacked.